classic. We're going to do something from the F series. How about we do the first ever F series truck? The Smith 1500, or A.K.A. the Ford F-100. I love this truck. We got all the body panels off of it right now. I want to see what I can fix for it. If I don't have to buy anything, that'd be great. But I'm gonna have to buy some because it didn't come with a lot. It basically came with nothing. It came with a door, the front and rear windows, a tail light, and a side bumper, and a rear bumper. Came with a side fender and a rear bumper. That's all it came with. The edge is actually a lot better than I thought it would be, though, because it was a junker. It was a complete junker, dude, and it's blue. It's the baby blue Ford that they do for this truck that I've seen in several and many trucks. We're going to get the welder here. We're going to put this up on the lift here, get the welder going here, because it does need, it's in dire need of some. Look at this. Look at this. It is horrible. The body is at 1% now, because I took off the pieces. It wasn't like, I think it was like 12 was the highest I got to. With those 4 pieces on there. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You include the license plate. Yeah. I'm going to put this Ford F-100 up here. It's called the Smith in the game, but it's a Ford F-100. Let's see if we can, what else we need to get here. Nothing. We're going to take out the brake pump. Get that out of here. There's a battery. Take that out. Get the battery out first. I want to get the battery out. It's going to take a radiator C, so take a classic radiator. Put this on the charger, so we got that charging. Yeah, because I don't want to. It was almost dead too, so. This is why I love doing these junkyard restorations, because stuff like this. I mean, if the game automatically takes off some of the rust when you bring it to your garage, then this must have been really rusted pretty bad. It was brown. I think I considered it brown colored. I didn't know it was blue underneath, so I looked at the stat sheet. It's blue. We're gonna get this welder out of here. It's gonna be $1,000, which I like. It's $1,000 to weld, but no matter how bad the car is, it's $1,000 straight up. See, it's $1,000. 1, 2, 3, boom. Ho! Ho! Except for that door and that tailgate, it's all blue. That's a sexy car, dude. That is one hell of a truck right there. Is that? That's just shine. Okay, that's just shine. It's like chrome blue almost. Or, well, it's metallic blue actually, but hell yeah. That's the truck I'd be proud to own right there. Be proud to own that thing. Let's see what the as it sits right now. $7,000, $7,300. We're probably gonna get about 30 grand out of this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna check this out. It has disc brakes on it. U-bolts and tubing. Rear end here. Yeah, so that's the first thing that goes in all the restorations. Because that prevents you from taking the gearbox off, prevents you from getting the rear drive axle out of there and stuff. And guess what? There's no starter in this car. Okay. There is no oil pan on it here either, so I don't have to drain the oil. That's good. So first things first, we're gonna get this wheel off and get rid of this. not be able to save. So this is a ventilated brake disc. Okay, we're going to take those. I like to take one front and one rear tire off. That way I know for sure what I'm doing. Really? You going to do this to me now? Oh my god. Let me check my phone, make sure we're still broadcasting. Are we still broadcasting? We are. Good. Cause see these older cars like the trucks, you gotta make sure. So I'll need brake shoes and a caliber cylinder on this. See, this has a straightforward muffler system here. Everything can be performanced out of it. The V8 need a V8. I know that. Gonna need a new fuel tank too. Gosh, we're gonna spend some money in this truck, but we're gonna make some money back on this truck too once it's all parted out. Parts taken out of it and it's all refurbished. We're gonna get that. I love these i6B circular. Those are the classic air filters that you get in those nice Cadillacs and stuff from like the 50s and stuff. Which I have a Delray Custom in my suite, so that's gonna be cool. So let's go ahead and get this off. So we're gonna know what we need for that. We're gonna need two of these, two of these, two of those, two drum wheel cylinders, two brake shoes, a brake servo, two brake pads, two brake drums. I just bought two brake discs. I don't know why I did that. We're gonna find out. Hold on. I just bought two brake discs, and I don't know why I did. Where's my brake disc at? I don't need those. I'll sell those back. We bought two brake discs. We need here a solid rear drive axle. So we need to go to suspension here and get all our suspension parts. Solid wheel drive axle. We need two of those. Two of these. Two of those. Two of these. One of these. We need to get two of these. We need to get four of these and two of these. We need to get two of these. We need to get the 12 for the front and the 4 for the back. We need 12 of these. I don't like the fact you can't go, because like in the computer game, you can go for as much you want. We need two of these. Need to get 4 more of these. Okay, we need two of these and two of those. One of these, because it is it's a front sway bar B if it's got a rear end link B. If it doesn't have a rear end link B, it's going to be an A, or a regular sway bar. Probably going to need a front wheel hub. I'm not going to grab those yet till I get to taking down that, because I don't know what kind of steering axle I need. I need to get a steering rack. And I think that's about it for what we need right now. I won't know what we need until we get to it. Let's take the front off here. We'll get this front hubcap off. Get the wheel hub off. Yes, it's the front wheel hub. Okay. Yeah, front axle knuckle cover. Two of those. See, I pretty much know what I need for this. We need two C's. We need two double wishbone shock absorbers. So we need to go up here and get the double wishbone shock absorbers. Two of those. We need two springs. Two of these. I think that's it for the front. I think that's all the front right there. I've done so many cars now on this game that I know exactly what some cars take. I don't know a lot, like what newer modern cars take, because some of the modern cars are like so, the rear end is so complex. Got to take out the two bolts here, the two bushings. The front cross member E, so I was almost there. One of those. Come around here, we'll get these. While we're coming through here. Get this sway bar in and out. Get the sway bar out now. Need to get the suspension arm out. Around here, get this. We gotta take the wheel off first. A. Get these little bitty pieces out first. I'll get the tie rod out, the outer tie rod. Now, into that one. I think the only thing we don't have is if we need any more, I think I got the wheel hub bearings for that back section there. Take this front exhaust section out. Get rid of this middle muffler. Right around here. Take this tire off as well. See, I like to take the front and the rear tire off, because if it is a different sized tire for the back, you can kind of see what you need to pick up. I take these shoes off first. Take this cylinder off. Get the wheel hub 4 at the very bottom. Two of those. Okay. We know we need the wheel hubs. We need the front axle, the rear axle knuckle housing B. So we need rear axle knuckle housing B. I'm going to go here and take these out. Right here, get this out. I take off the plate. I got these, I saw these when I was part. Now usually if you go through the car and you look at the car, you want to do kind of like a little overview, kind of like a little look through, see what the parts you need, because you can really pick up a lot of parts pretty quickly and not have to go through and buy them all. As you're building, it goes a lot quicker. Get these two off. I used to do the rear suspension first because it's a lot easier, because there are some cars that will use shock absorbers with the spring and a cap and whatever. Or you use the spring cap and then you use a I need to get 4 small rubber bushings for this, because this is small rubber bushings for these. Okay. We need to get a fuel tank. We need to get a fuel filter. Pump. There we go. We need 2 rear shock absorber Bs. The only thing I hate about the leaf springs is that they don't put the rubber bushings in. You have to do them separately from the leaf spring. Like some of the, upper and bottom suspension arms. The suspension arms you'll put together with the with the suspension arms, it'll automatically let you put the brake shoes back on. The brake drum. We need to get the rim 1. Rim basic 1. We're going to see if we can fix those. We're going to try those out. Let's try and get this ready. $225 225, 75, 15s. Come down here. Two 25, 75, 15s. Here. There we go. This has got to be the most boring part of the game, probably. Let's go ahead and take this over here. Got one. Two. Three. And one more. Okay. They've all been fixed. Good. So that's all been fixed. Now I don't have to worry about selling the tires or selling the rims. Now it's not going to work. Since they're all the same width and the same radius, it's not going to be like I'm going to have to figure out which tires go where. Come back here. Come back out here. Need 2 more of those. I didn't get them like I wanted them to either. Well, it's good to check. This back on. Put this back on. The shoes go back on. The brake drum goes on. Then the basic rim. Okay, now we come back up here. Goes back on. You always want to make sure that you put every bushing you can back in there if you have to do it separately from stuff, because if you don't, you miss one bushing, it's going to be tough to find. That's why I love when this happens, when you get the... You need to go get the... second most boring part of the whole thing, but this is the glory because it means you get the thing put it back together. Come around here. I got AC/DC stuck in my head. It just keeps playing over and over again. It's Money Talks. Listen. Come on, come on. Listen for the money. Come on, come on. Listen to the money talk. Come on, listen for the money. Listen to the money. Come on, love me for the money. Come on, listen to the money talk. Come on, love me for the money. It is the suspension all buttoned up except for the drive shaft, which I'll put in last because I have to put in, I have to get the gearbox and everything else. That's why I take it off first, because it's connected to the rear drive axle here of the leaf spring drive axle. And it's also connected to the gearbox up front here, like right there where the gearbox goes, the flywheel, the clutch pressure plate, the clutch, and then the clutch bearing, release bearing there. So it all has to go in last. Now let's see what we got here. Let's try this exhaust one more time. Let's see what we need. I need exhaust. And the V8. Go down here. Nope. Need a middle muffler. A V8 overhead. One of those, okay. Front exhaust section I6B. So we need a front exhaust section I6B. Front exhaust section I6B. Which I like these straightforward ones because it's so much easier to do it. One of those. One of these. This will go last. This one will go last because it has to go. It connects to the engine, so it will not be put in because the engine needs this front exhaust section needs to be taken off to get the engine out. So now we're just about done there with that. Now what we need to do is we'll put all the body panels on last too. Let's get everything here. Let's see. We need to get the engine crane. Pull it out. We're going to leave the engine crane there because that'll be the next thing we're going to need to use after we finish this engine. Okay, now we get in here and we start taking off this stuff. Let's see what we can get. I'll explain in a minute about what I do with the engine. Tear it down. Because there's a certain way I do the engine. The engine block off, timing cover, there'll be some timing. Yeah. Okay, now we need to see what lies beneath, inside. Let's see what we got here. get the gearbox stuff off. Now what I do is with this is I go ahead and I make sure that the camshaft and the engine block get fixed. If they don't, I have to go buy one, or the one or other or both. Reason I do that is because that way, because I know I can't get those performance parts, so they're just going to be stock parts. If the engine does come with rod caps or camshaft bearings, caps, I will make sure those get fixed as well, because those will be standard parts as well. The camshaft can be performance, so can the engine heads, and you can't fix the valve rods. You can't fix those. You can't fix the You can fix the covers. The covers are going to be standard parts. We're going to see what we got here. No, I gotta go buy an engine block. Okay. Just want to make sure that I don't have the crankshaft. It's gonna have to be fixed. See if that can be fixed. The crankshaft got fixed. Okay, so I6B engine block. Gonna be the blue ones, so we're gonna need to one of these, one of those, one of these, one of these, 6 of these, one of these, one of these, one of these, one of those, and I think that's about it for right now. One of those, we know we need that. One of those, one of these, one of those, one of this. That's going to be a performance part. Is it a B? I think it was a B. That was a B. That's right. One of those. We'll see what we need here. We need one of those. Now we have to go here. Five camshaft bearings. Crankshaft bearing caps. I have to go to crank. I just bought the wrong pistons too. I know I did. There we go. Nope. I like the way you put the caps on because it follows when you do it. It moves over to the next one and goes down, up, up. Got one extra one. Okay, well that's cool. There's that. Now there's the shaft. It's an I6B. One of those. I need one of those. I don't know for sure. Good. Tying cover. I got that one. Put the water pump. The arm goes in here for the alternator. V8 crankshaft pulley. now we're done. Need a fuel filter. Go over to the car and see something. I want to see something real fast. So it's not the fuel cell. I thought it was. Okay. I'm missing one? I'm missing a camshaft. The oil pump back on there. This on there. Need 6 sparkers. Six valve rods. This is not the most difficult engine to do. This is one of the easier ones to do. Need 6 rocker arms. Need 6 more. Okay, well, then fine. takes a little bit more time because it's very time consuming to get those little bitty thin valve rods up there. Go to ignition. Get one of these. One of these. Shoot a rotor. I6. Okay, now let's back out. One of these. Arm A. Do not have one, so we need to get arm A. Power steering, yeah. The I6P power steering in this one. Need a fan B. Exhaust manifold I6B, intake manifold I6B, so we go here. One of those. Carb. This one. One of these. One of those. So that's about it for that. But we got to do this bottom part. So we got to go here. Grab us one of these, because these are not performance part. The release bearing is not a performance part, but it can be used in performance setups. So we need to go here, clutch plate, pressure plate, and a flywheel. I had to use one of those once, tins, but we'll see. I should the wrong button every time. Flywheel, clutch plate, clutch pressure plate, and we need one of those. Now that's done. That is finished. Everything is done on this one. Okay, now we can take this back out. Okay, got it in there now. Cooling. Your rad C. Get the battery first. Make sure we get the battery. One of these. One of those. That's it for that. That's all done. Now, fill the oil up. I6B gearbox. We need to go here. Your dry shaft. Water has to come from the gear. And the starter. Everything is done, but check this. Make sure that's the right one. Now we got to go back in here. Move it to 1. No, 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 no. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? No. There is no... There, 1500? No. So we need to get... I got the right one. I got the right seats. That's cool. Did not know I got the right seats. Now let's check and see what we need on the way of the steering wheel. 15, okay. Gotcha. Okay, now we need to get the... just over here. There now. Gotcha. We need to get plates. No, whoa, 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 what was that? Now, that is done. It says F-100 on it. Let's go paint it. Four is so cool. That is cool. That is the baddest thing I've ever seen. I know. What clip is missing from the car? Clip B. Okay, something's missing from the car. I don't know what it is. Clip B. Oh my god, it's fine. Clip B. does the clip go? Find it on the internet, probably have to. Right? Okay. Forget the distributor. Oh, missing another clip. There's 2 clip B's they're missing. Okay, fine. We're 100% good. It just takes one little thing to make yourself like you have to spend time looking for it. It's like, what the heck, you know? See what we get out of this one. Yeah, almost a little over half. Half and a quarter. That's not bad. Took a picture from my buddy here so you can see it. And we're going to sell it. Nope. Some stupid person didn't think so. We're good. This is a good deal right here. Let's see what we got here. We got a pretty good deal here. Let's close this door. Let's just take it out of here. I like to move it out here because if you don't, you put the new car that you bring in, it's going to automatically put it in that dyno and stuff. It's going to suck. That's pretty cool. The Smith truck, but it's blue, but it's got the livery on it. It's got the wrap on it, so it's pretty cool. And it's going to be $51,915 for a Smith. That's pretty good. $51,000 Smith. That's a pretty good deal. It made 326 foot-pounds of torque. Holy crap. 326 pounds-feet of torque. That's not bad. I switched it over to metric to Imperial because it was so much easier for me to read it than having to read the nanometers. That nanometers would have been. We're gonna sell it. Get all these parts fixed up. Just so I can get the parts sold. Everything else can be put into the warehouse. Any gears? We got any gearboxes stuff? No gearbox stuff. We got one gearbox. Okay, we need 2 is brakes. 3 is engine. Gonna be way a lot of engine. 4 is gonna be suspension. 5 is gonna be hubs. I don't have any hubs. I don't think I have any rims. Nope. 6 is gonna be exhaust. No exhaust. So 7 is gonna be body. So we're gonna do solid body. Done. We're done. We just made another $51,000 in stuff. We're hovering right around 1.4 million right now. I think the next car we're gonna do is going to be one of the Atlantas. Supercharged. I got 2 supercharged. Oh see how bad this one is. Ooh. What's it worth? Yeah, we'll just put it in the parking garage. That's the blue one I want to keep. I want to keep at least one car out of this entire thing, so I want to try and see if I can fix up one car to keep. That's basically it on how to play the game. Basically, you just go through. One more thing you guys want to do the phone. When you first start, you don't have a phone or whatever. You have to use the phone here. See what you got to do. Now I'll tell you what these little symbols mean. You know the engine symbol. There's a timing symbol, suspension symbol, brakes and gears. Like the Bentley Continental has the brakes and gears on it. Has brakes and exhaust. The next one is gears. I think the last one is turbo, if I'm not mistaken. The last one is turbo. But there's also the body panels. You can either paint it or spray it factory color. So it just tells you, hey, you need to upgrade the turbo. I'm not sure on that last one, very last one, but then when you get points, you come here. I have 4 skill points, so I only need 1 more to do, or 2 more to do the last 2 parts, last 2 things, and I should be done. But then you come here, welder, you use to weld the body, to weld the frame. So once you get the body panels off the frame, all the body that's on there, if you get a junkyard find, there may not be much, but there might be some. You take it off, you take it over to the, you have to have it on the lifter. You have to have it on the lifter, and this is the welder, and it welds, it fixes all the frame, makes it 100%. This is what you use to take the engine out. This is your interior detailing toolkit, so that's all you need to know about that. Battery charger charges the battery. This right here is a spring puller, which you'll use for separating springs or installing springs together to make them one together. This is your wheel tire changer, changes the tires off the rims, or installs tires on rims. This balances your wheels. This is where you go when you do all your repairs of stuff you can repair. There's some stuff you can't repair that you have to buy no matter what. This is your test pad, and here is your test pad. This is where you test your suspension and brakes to make sure that if you're doing a job or whatever, if you're doing a job order, this is where you'll test the springs and the suspension to find out what's wrong with the car, because a lot of times once you get to a certain point in the game, you won't be getting list anymore of what's wrong. You'll get says part not discovered, so you have to take it in here to find out if the brakes and suspension are good, and usually it'll tell you the front. You'll say front left is on this side, so if you look at it, it's sideways, so left will be bottom and right will be top. You'll start out with 1. Usually it's probably this one here. You'll start out with 1 lift. You get the other 2 as you progress through the game. You get another entrance as you progress through the game. You'll get your warehouse, which you can have up to 8 warehouses filled with stuff. Usually, mainly it's going to be your gears, your brakes, your suspension, your hub, your rims, tires, engine, wheels, rims, tires, engine, body, suspension, gears, and exhaust is usually what you're going to have, your 8 pieces. You're not going to have any parts put together. Part section. You might have a part section which you'll put it with normally this. This is your spray booth, your booth where you go and you paint the car. You got 3 different things you can click on. You got 4 different areas you can click on to go directly to spray paint. And here you got your dyno, which you'll get pretty late in the game, where you can test the horsepower and the pound-feet of torque on your cars once you do the engines, because a lot of times you can go in and you can do the engines and stuff. It'll say nanometers first, but you can go into settings, go into game options, and you can change the measurement option to imperial if you're living in the United States. Here's another computer you can use to buy parts. This is where you'll start buying parts from. You won't buy parts, you won't have your tablet until like you get to level 5, I think. Yeah, okay. Level 1, you'll get the 50%, you get faster examination, faster screwing and unscrewing, you'll get the faster 3, you'll get the faster part installing and removing. This, you'll get your first, you get the test path and the repair bench on level 4. Level 5, you get your odds repairing will be up to over half, so you'll have a better chance of repairing stuff. Get your tire tread tester, if you choose to get it, if you have enough points to get it, because you can only expend so many points of which points you have available. So let's say I have 3 points available and I want to get the recycling, I want to get this and this. You won't get your tread tester until you get enough points to get it. But you also get your tablet. You want to get that one. You always want to get that one as soon as you possibly can, because then you don't have to go back to the computers to buy parts. You can automatically go to your parts. You can get you can buy parts with your tablet. You can also check your orders and see what you got coming in. These right here, you want to get recycling so you can get 65%, so you have better, way better odds of doing that. 100% faster part examination, which is like a lot faster. Get your nimble hands, you get your faster unscrewing. But you really want to get the electric multimeter and the DOBD tester, so that you have testers so you can test other things besides just suspension and brakes. This will prevent you from going to the test track as more often, so you can stay in your garage and work on your stuff. You'll get know your values. And basically what this is like, hey, this part costs this much, so you'll know better about how much the parts cost. And basically what the parts will do, that way you get better payouts, because you'll get better payouts if you do this. This here, you need to get this one as soon as you're able to get it, because this one, as soon as an order comes in, if it's an engine order, if the engine is bad and you don't know what's wrong with the engine, and you're doing let's say you're doing like a job and it has parts not discovered on the engine parts, and you need to find out before you take the engine apart or you take anything off the engine, you need to run this compression tester. It'll tell you what your pistons are like, it'll tell you how everything else is. Same with the multimeter as well, if you have the multimeter, because it'll tell you, hey, your spark plugs, your battery sucks, your ignition coils suck, your wires are bad. It'll tell you everything. This will tell you your pistons, your intake, your manifolds and stuff. This will be a lot faster taking off, like the wheels off the car. And in recycling, you'll get to 75%. You want to get this as well, because then you can start. Then you'll have a really, really good chance of actually going ahead and repairing parts. You won't have to buy as many parts if you know what you need. Now this level 12 is your I need more room section. Now this is a big section here, because you get your second car lift, which you'll be able to do 2 cars, or have 2 cars on the lift. You'll be able to get up to 2 cars. You'll also get your warehouse. Now once you get your warehouse, you can start parts that you may have accidentally bought or you didn't use in a thing that are still bad, you fix. You can, and stuff, and the crates and parts that you get through buying parts and fixing parts will go into your warehouse, so you can save them for later for other things. Also, as you progress through the game, you'll get these crates that'll have like either performance parts or barn finds in them, or But performance parts, regular parts, are barn finds. But each part might have +3 or +4 quality on it, so it might be a little bit better than a regular part. This here, you'll get the 85%. This is almost 4/5. This is 4/5 better working on it. You can finally almost 100% repair a part unless it's so bad that it's not going to be able to be fixed. This here will tell you that if your fuel rails are bad. This will tell you if the fuel pressure test will tell you if your fuel rails are bad, your fuel filter sucks, your fuel tank, your fuel pump is bad. Anything to do with the fuel system, it'll tell you, hey, you might want to fix this, or it'll show you what the percentage is on it so you know what to fix. Educated means you can find 9 parts in the car for the first time. When you look at the car, when you look at the, well, whatever it's called, it's like a sheet where you look, you can't do anything to the car, but you can see what parts are bad, what parts are good. Then loved one is a level up for, like, you get like discounts in the shop, like 10% discounts. Now this one here, you get 150% faster part examination, so you know the part's bad. 150 unscrewing. That's when you'll get the screws on fire, and you'll be able to walk a little bit faster. Now this here is what you were striving for. This is almost 100% odds of repair, because in the game there's no 100% repair rate, but you will be able to almost fix 95% of your parts you take off the car or you're working on. You'll be able to fix them. You'll be able to take it off faster. This here, when you're at the auction, will show you the average value of a car. So let's say you're buying like a Carrera GT or something like that. If you look in the right hand corner of your screen, when you go to bid on a car, that'll give you some idea of where you want to stop, because it'll tell you, hey, this is what the average price of a car is. If it goes over this, you might want to slow down, see how much further the computer bidders are going to go. This one here, you get the paint shop, where you can paint the car, the dyno where you can test the car's horsepower and torque, but you'll also get another lift. So you get 3 lifts, then you'll have 3 lifts. Now 6 is what you're really striving for in this game. 6 is what you're really, level 6 recycling is what you're really striving for in the game. Level 6, you can repair body parts finally. This is where you want to get to if you have to, because when you start going through the game, they're going to start asking you to repair body parts. And if you can repair body parts, because body parts are expensive. Even in the game, body parts are expensive. Now, this is what you want to as well. You want to get to this stage here, because it's spacious backyard. Because once you get 50% off parking levels, let's say you're going to buy parking level 3. I got 0, 1, and 2 so far. If you want to buy 3, it's 150 grand right out of the box. So if you get this, it's 75,000 for this deal. I'm gonna have to buy that too. And you get 50% faster walking. This one here, you get half off trips to the junkyard and barrel and barn. So it's like you get half. So it's like $250 to the junkyard and like $50 for the barns. This you get 15% discount in shops. This is the last. I think that's the last level. And you'll get the trophy loved one. 50% 50% off in shops, so everything's going to be like, let's say 1/5. It's going to be 15% discount, so it's going to be pretty good. Now this one here, you're going to get, when you get to level 45, you're going to get examination, or are educated, where you can examine 20 body parts. So you can see 20 different body parts on the car. And I think it's random. I'm not sure if it's random or not, but I'm thinking it is random what body parts are examined when you look at a car. And usually it's the same body parts. Usually it's the same section of body parts that you're looking at. And this one's just a lucky one. That's that there. This is your oil drain. Now in some applications, like, let me see here, we got one here. You don't have one here. Oh, you should find one here. It's gonna drain. No, there's not. But if you have the oil bottle is lit up, that means that the car has to be drained. Usually that means the car has to be drained, or the car has to be drained and a new oil filter put on and refilled with oil. You'll use this. But there is a trophy in the game called I think it's called Bad Blood or whatever. Or First Blood. And it's when you take the oil pan off before you drain the car, you'll get a $100 fine, you'll get the trophy. Just do it as soon as you can. Because it's stupid. It's a stupid trophy to get. I don't like the trophy. I think it's dumb. I think it's an idiotic way of completing. But anyway, this is your other computer here. This is where you go to look at parts. Here. Let's go here. Now here, test track is where you test your suspension, your brakes, your gears, your tires. You test pretty much everything. Junkyard is where you find the cheapest cars in the game. But let me just tell you, there's not going to be very many of the DLC in the junkyard. You're not going to be able to find that. The parking is that's where you park your stuff. Car salon. Let me talk about this for a minute. The car salon basically is where you buy a car brand new outright. Just start to buy a car brand new. You don't want to buy a car brand new unless it's a car you cannot absolutely have to find, and if you go to the car salon and it appears there, you've got to have money to buy it. I mean, you literally got to have a lot of money. Like, I wanted to buy a Pagani Zonda Revolution, $630-something thousand for the car, brand new. But why would you want to buy a brand new car when you could fix it for almost half of what you would pay for it in the salon? You got the racetrack where you can race a car, see if you can get under a minute to get a trophy. Car auctions, where you can go you get a list of cars that are going to be up for auction, and you can see exactly how much each car is worth on average, and you can do that. The abandoned airport is basically just a little circuit. You can just drive around, test your car out. You'll be able to do that until the off-road track. I have not been to here yet, but I hear that it's really neat. Fun to drive them Jeeps. Are them any 4x4 you've got can be driven on this track. Speed track. Now, speed track is a little bit different story because it's a DLC only track that you get when you buy the Pagani track. When you buy the Pagani DLC, you'll get the speed track as well. Then you've got barns here that you can go find cars in. You can have up to 20 barns. That's it. Now come here. Here you can customize your garage look. You can customize two different floors. Your drain grades can be customized. Your wall A, B, and C can be customized, and D. Your gate A, B, and C can be customized. D can be customized as well. Your cabinets can be customized. Your office, your column A, B, and C, and your car lift A, B, and C can be customized. Your stains A and B can be C can be cut D. There's different stains. You can change it. Different stains. Let me show you here. See, look, I can get the stains out of here. You can get some of these stains like this, 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 this. Don't want to take those out because I can just clean my garage. But you can get this. But you need to see what you need to change camera to see. What you need, because there's different. See, because you got to find out where the stain being changed here, because it's not going to be changed. Your C can be changed over there and in front of the. You change your garbage can be changed for two different options here with the. You can have garbage on the floor. You cannot have garbage on the floor. It can be in piles. That's it. Now, once you do that, that's pretty much everything in the game, except for up here, which has no bearing on the game whatsoever. It's just a relaxation thing. You could come up here and relax. And that's it. This is the only other place you can go to here. Test path there. Nothing else can be checked here. You got three, I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 toolboxes you can upgrade yourself with. Now let me go with parking real quick and tell you a little about parking. In parking, there are 10 levels you can buy. There are 10 levels you can buy in parking. Once you get to the 10th level of parking, which I doubt that you ever will, because you'll always be working on cars, moving cars out the way. Because you won't need 240 cars or 120 cars. You won't need 120 cars in your list to be sitting around. Which I have enough now that I could probably make over $3 million right now of what I've got. I've got, 23, 26 cars right now. Now, that's just the way it is. But then you can go to settings through here. You can save your game, you can load your game, or you can exit the menu without saving, or you can press this and go back that way. Here you can check your parts notes. That's just a shopping list, or well, when you're doing a job or something, it's just a shopping list you can create to keep track of what parts you need, what parts you don't need. If you're new to the game, it's a useful tool, very useful tool, because if you don't know what parts you need or what parts you have, you can look at your look at you can take your shopping list into your, here like this. You can open it up and say, oh, well, I need to get this part, and this part, and this part. And I need 4 of this part, 4 of this part, 2 of this part, and 1 of this part. So you can kind of put how many part you can put. Let's say you need like 12 shocks, or you need 12 sparkers for a V12. You can put 12. You can put spark plug in there 12 times, and it'll say, okay, well, I need to get this, and you can check it. You can kind of look at it and say, well, I need this, and this to complete this engine that I'm building, which you don't know. So it's useful for beginners, but once you get used to the game, it's a waste of time. Now there's also a thing in the game when you do a job. If a part is found, or you get a list of parts, when you first get a list of parts, what it'll do is you can star the part and look at the part, and it'll tell you, it'll have a blue circle around it, which will tell you exactly where the blue circle will show up, and you look for that blue circle, and that'll be where the part is that's bad, and you can fix that part without having to screw around with it. Whatever, this is a jack stand there. But let me show you something in the engine thing here, because a lot of people ask me about this all the time. Now, when you want to create a new engine, you go up to create new engine. Gives you a list of engines. Now, as you buy the DLC, there'll be different engines that'll be populated into your engine list for what engines you need, or for what cars. There's 53 different engines you can build in the game. Now, each car that you do build an engine for, now each car will come in with an engine, a certain engine. Now cars that you do, the job cars that you do like this, any of these cars here, you see, you cannot swap engines. It'll tell you that you can swap. It'll show you a list of swap options. Let me go grab a car out of here. I'll show you what I mean by that. Grab a V8 out of here so we can do this. Let's grab the Bolt Hellcat. First thing first, because we're going to do the Bolt Hellcat first. I want to show you this. This is one of the deals. My buddy's a Hellcat master, we call him, because that's all he does. This is a sexy Hellcat, actually. I'll tell you right now, that's a sexy Hellcat. Now, when you go to your car status, it'll give you a list of options right here that say swap options. These are the engines you can swap with the engine that's in the car now. So let's say there's a V8 overhead. There's a V8 overhead valve 1 carb engine in there right now. You can go as far as a 2 carb supercharged, an overhead Hemi, a mag, a 6P, a Windsor, or a 365. And those are the only engines you could put in that car. If you own the car, though, only if you own the car can you swap engines out. I found out you cannot swap engines. You cannot swap engines if you don't own the car. So let's say this is a 1 carb. I want to put a 2 carb supercharged in here. I can do that. Now these right here, if you want to look at this, I'll tell you what you can do. The easiest way to find out if you can swap engines out. Normally, you can either check and see if the engine has a fan on the engine like this one does right there. There's an engine fan right there where my marker is. Right here is There's an engine fan right here. Or a radiator fan right there. And it's on the engine. So any engine in the list of 53 engines that you can build that has a fan on a radiator fan on the engine, you can swap out. Or you can look at this, and normally most cars that have a radiator C will have a fan on the engine, so that's another telltale sign there. Say, oh well, I can swap out engines. So you come in here, you look at the car status list, and it tells you the list of engines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 different engines you can swap out of this car. And you can look at these engines. Like this one has a radiator A, C, A, C, A, C. Now, when you look at a car, when you look at a car and it has a V8, right? Let's try this. Let's go get another car out here. It has a V8 in it, right? Normally I found it's the overheads that can be swapped out most of the time. Grab a Bolt Atlantic F mill real quick. We'll grab the Bolt Atlantic real quick. Bolt Atlanta. Excuse me. I always say Atlantic. It's Atlanta. Let's grab the straw dale out of here. Jesus. This Atlanta is bad. Let's see. This has got a I6 overhead. You can't swap anything out of it. So always check the swap options section over here in the corner, in the right corner here. It'll tell you whether or not you can swap engines out. Now this is the Maserati MC Strawdale here. This one here, I don't know if we can swap anything out. No. I can't swap anything out of this one either, but it's a dual overhead cam BCN. Now some cars will have their own engines that cannot be swapped. So you don't want to do it. Now you come here, you look at your list of car parts. This is where you check to make sure if you look at the very top of here where it says global body condition, global parts condition, frame condition, and interior condition, and you see one that's not completely 100%, you can look through your list of parts that you pulled off the car, or because a lot of times it'll tell you if a car can only be checked if you pull it off the car once you go through and you do all your tests with all your tools. You can find the part that's not 100% on this list. Which this one here, I actually have a lot of parts that are actually not already done. Most of them are the body parts, but that's okay. We got some of the upper parts here. The brakes are bad, and the cross member's bad. Clutch, the gears, the suspension gears, and usually the suspension gears and body will be the ones that will be marked already. Gear, suspension, and brakes will be the ones that are marked already, so you don't have to go through. But there will be some that are not. This is where you check your inventory. This is where you check your parts notes. It's where you access your workshop computer from. This is the overview mode. This is what to look at. See? I have like 9 parts I can look at right now. It'll tell me, hey, this part's bad, this part's bad, this part's bad. Usually they're the ones that already have been found. This is where you move your car from each section in the garage to each lift to test path to your parking to your paint shop to your dyno. This is where you go into assemble mode. And usually this is strictly, this right here is strictly for your body parts. This is your body part assembly mode right here. This is your interior disassemble. Come here, you can take out your interior out here. But you also go back in and it'll have an interior assemble mode where you can put your interior in your steering wheels, your bench if it has a bench, and your two front seats. Then you come out of here, you go back to normal mode, which is this. This here is your car status. It tells you what parts haven't been found or haven't been classified, and the condition of them hasn't been noted. This here, this is a special section, tune parts. Now it only works for custom gearboxes. Let's go over here and let's look at the custom gearboxes real fast. It's in gear grip. There's a custom gearbox for just about every engine in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18, 24, 25, 26, 27, 6, 12, 18, 24. There's 27 different gearboxes. But I have not found a car that I have worked on yet that does not take a performance gearbox. This is where you get all your rims for all your cars. There's about 100 different rims. These are the Zondas. The gold ones are the Zondas, and the rest of them are just things depending on what you want, what you need. There'll be regular rims, retro rims, classic rims, modern rims. But there might be more than one rim of that classified. Let's say you want to come here. You want to get a modern 3. There's a modern 3, there's a 3B, and a 3C. 3B has the modern 3 is just a straight rim. The modern 3B is the rim painted with the black spokes, and the modern rim 3C is the one with the black rim and the regular spokes on it. Now, not all rims are going to have a. No, not all rims are going to have a. Those are Zonda rims in the background, by the way. Now, not all rims are going to have a. Have other options for the rims, so you're not going to be able to get. Let's see, you want to get a thing. Now some cars here will have their own rims, their own special rims that go on. Like your Mach 1 Mustang, your regular Mustang will have its own rim. Your Reptilia might have its own rim. Your Quattraport will have its own rim. Let's see what else we got here. You got your Roadrunner, your Roll-It, your SRT10, your truck will have one, your Sebring will have one. So your Maseratis will all have one. The Bentleys will all have one. The Zondas will have their own. The Vipers will have 3 different rim options. The Typhoon will have their own. and the TBX might have its own. So you might have to look for the rim for a specific rim for that particular car type. So let's say you're gonna get a Pagani, or let's say you're gonna do a Carrera GT. Now you could put other rims on here, but they have their own rim, own special rim that goes on with a hubcap. Now sometimes they won't let you put. This is the 3500B, the regular steel rim. This is the chrome rim for the 3500. This is your 964, your 964RS, your 991, and your Porsche Carrera GT right here. That's the one I just worked on yesterday. And then you come here if you need tires, which that's always going to work. There are 16 different tire types you can get. You can get an off-road tire. You can get a second option for an off-road tire. You get a race tire B, slick tires. Each tire is going to have, vintage race tires are not going to have their own option. Every sport tires are not going to have their own option. Just that one option. But the vintage tires wall with the white walls, you can have 3 different options for it. Now here's where you'll spend most of your time. This is where you'll spend most of your time, in the up parts, main shop. You can either search for every part in the parts deal. This gives you every single part. It's not a performance part in the game. Every single standard part in the game is here. Or you can search by engine, which just gives you engine parts, suspension, which just gives you suspension, brakes, exhaust, gearbox, etc. Or you can come in here and you can go for a specific part or a set of parts. Like let's say you're looking for you're doing the fuel and you want to put a fuel filter on there, fuel pump, you need some fuel rails and a fuel tank. You click here and you go here and it searches for all the parts that have fuel in the name. And you'll come up with a list of parts. Now you can also search by engine type. So let's say you're doing like an engine type, or there's certain parts that go on that are specific to a certain engine or car. This will give you all the part types. This will give you all the parts in that engine type. Let's say you're looking for a V10, which I just did, which was the Carrera. By the way, yet again, there it is, Carrera. There's another Carrera part. Now you can go here, and this is where you'll get all your V10 parts and stuff. Now, if you're doing a Dodge or a Porsche, you can look for the manufacturer's insignia right here, like the Dodge logo. You can look for that. If you're doing a Dodge, which is the Dodge SRT, by the way, or the Carrera GT, you can do that as well. Look for the Porsche symbol. That'll give you a general area you want to look at. Now also, sometimes the parts will be A, B, C, D, E, and F, and maybe G, maybe H, I, J, K, depending on what you do. Now when you're doing an engine on here, when you highlight a part do you want to put on an engine or your stuff, it'll say, well, you need engine block I you go in here, go to engine, you come down here, and it's a Ford engine. The V8 overhead I is a Ford engine. So is a J. K's are usually the Dodges, the L's are usually the Dodges. But you'll have a V8 overhead. You'll have standard V8s, engines, V8 overheads, V10s. It just depends on what type of car you're working on, depending on what type of block you need, what type of manifold exhaust you need, whatever. Now brakes here, you only have 12 different parts. Some cars will have ABSs, ABS systems on them, so you might want to think. So if you know your cars and know which cars in the game have ABSs and what cars don't, it'll save you a lot of headaches. This is for the Continental Bentley. This is the brake caliber B. Brake caliber cylinder goes in this caliber here. So you always, if you're gonna do brakes and you have to have brake pads, might as well grab a caliber and a caliber cylinder as well. Brake disc. This is always for the rear of a car. Now sometimes the car, if it's an older car, will have drums on it, so you'll have to grab you some brake shoes for this. But always grab a brake servo. That's number one on the list. But if you need brake shoes, you'll have to get a drum wheel cylinder to go on that brake. So you might want to think about grabbing that too. This is where you'll grab all your plates. Plates for just about every place in the world will be on here. Some of them are cool, like Utah, Wyoming. Red Dot has their own license plate on there. You can get a standard plate with just nothing on it. Switzerland, Tennessee, Texas, truck, yeah. Ours sucks, yes. I know Missouri sucks with their license plates. They need to put their Centennial license plates in there. That'd be cool. Louisiana's got the grass. Kingdom of Kabuto. That's an African country. Got your Illinois, the land of Lincoln. Yes, we know. Iowa should have had corn on it, but it's got the buildings on it. That's there. Indiana doesn't have anything. Italy's the flag. Ireland's the flag. Scenic Idaho. Hawaii's got the rainbow. Great Britain's got their flag colors on there. Florida, France have their flag colors. Georgia's just a clear plate. I don't know why, but Germany's got their flag colors. Estonia. Delaware's just black. I don't know why that is. District of Columbia's got the red lines on it. Dubai. I should have sent that off there though. That Wyra, I should have sent it to Dubai because that's about the only place you could drive it now. It's all been banned everywhere. You got four different districts of China here. This is there. You got Beijing, Chongping, Shanghai, and Tianjin. I love those. You got Bosnia and Herzegovina. They're basically just the same thing. Belgium. You got Australia and Tasmania, which is all one country. New South Wales has their own one. Each territory has their own license plate, I think. Take it to Graz. We can go to Graz and drive the Autobahn. Central Australia, Armenia, Alabama, Alaska, Albania, Andorra, Arizona, Arkansas, which is the natural state. We know, it's just natural. Now this is the body tuning shop. Now this here is a really special little section in the game. And they're normally mostly for the stock cars in the game. I don't think there's not one. There's not a part in the game for any of the DLC cars. So there's nothing thing. It's all the stock cars in the game that are like the Luxor Bowen, the Mayan M3, the Mayan M5, M6, the M8, the Ursa, the the Reno Piccolo, the Royal Crown. The Sakura. This is the Sakura Moon. The Flamo. Is there a fastback in here? No, there's not. So there's some parts in here that can go. You can change out body parts however you want to build your car, but you can only change the body parts if you own the car to these options. These are just different options for different things. And I just had, damn it, I just had a A.K.A. LX550. That's the Chrysler 300 version, car version. This is the games version of a 300 Chrysler. Damn. Just about everything. I just had just about everything for it, except for the trunk. Now here is where you buy all the parts for it. This is where you buy all the regular body parts for your car. These are all the standard body parts for every car in the game. Fenders, lights, tail lights, hoods, trunks, mirrors, windows, side mirrors. Charger headlights, which is the one I love. Both those headlights are sexy. This here this is where you have all your bench seats, your regular seats, leather and fabric, and all your options for all your steering wheels. You have all your bench seats, leather and fabric. This is where a lot of the cars will have their own. A lot of the DLC cars will have their own seat, special seats that go in there that only can go in there. If you put the wrong seat in there, it looks kind of weird, like the seat's jutting out from the base seat thing. But this is it right here. Like the Sebring, the Roll-It, the SRT10, the Reptilia, the RX3, the RX7, both the Mazdas right there, which I love. You got your two different, your 964, your 991 steering wheels. That's your Atlanta. So a lot of the cars will have their own steering wheel. There's also some cars that will have steering wheels that will be just general steering wheels, like Smith I just did was a 15. Now this right here is a very important section here. This section here is probably the most important section in the game. This section houses every performance part in the game. And they're coded, their title will be, the background color for the title will be blue. And there are only certain engines there'll be engines. There'll be certain parts, like let's say like an engine head. You'll have like an I3 engine head. You'll have an I4B, I4D, I4 single overhead cam, an I4. You'll have engine heads you can buy. There's only certain engines that will take performance parts. Sometimes you won't be able to find a performance part, but if you look in here, when you're doing an engine, always check this section to make sure that there's not a performance upgrade for the engine you're working on. Because if there's not, like this right here was for the quadruport. Not quadruport, what was it? Was it the Maserati quadruport? No, the Carrera. I used this in the Carrera GT. There will be certain, like this right here, there's an air filter for a Hemi Cuda that'll go in there and stuff. Now, if you're looking like this, crankshafts, there are some parts that are not that can't be upgraded to performance. They have to be stock parts when you get them. You'll start to gather that where you know which parts are stock, which parts can be upgraded, and which parts can't be upgraded. So I know what that turbo's for now. It's for upgrading parts and stuff. Like a crankshaft can't be upgraded, but a camshaft can be upgraded here. There's several camshafts you can upgrade to. Now alternators can be upgraded. Both alternators in the game can be upgraded. Most of the air filters can be upgraded. Most of the carburetors can be upgraded. Most of the exhaust systems can be upgraded. There are some parts in the game, in the exhaust section, that can't be upgraded, like the front section sometimes in some cars can't be upgraded. Performance, you'll have performance part with a regular stock part connected to it. Some of the exhaust manifolds can be upgraded. A lot of the exhaust manifolds can be upgraded. The flywheels can be upgraded, so can the clutch plates, the pressure plates. But when you're doing the gearbox, the only part that can't be upgraded in the gearbox is your clutch release bearing. You can't upgrade your covers. Your covers can't be upgraded for no reason. Your entire fuel system, I think there's a part for every fuel system can be upgraded. Your ignition system can be upgraded. Usually you can get a new ignition coil, distributor caps, distributors, and coil packs and stuff, and wires. Your intakes can be upgraded. A lot of them can be upgraded. Your intakes can. Your pistons can be upgraded. All your pistons can be upgraded except for the rings. The rings have to be the stock rings. That's all they have is the stock rings. Your middle mufflers can be upgraded. Your rear exhaust sections can be upgraded. Your power steering pumps, there's 6 power steering pumps in here that can be upgraded. Your I4B, your I4, your I6, your V6Bs, your overhead F, your V8s, and your 961s. All your rear exhaust section can be upgraded. Your round air filters can be upgraded. Your throttles can be upgraded. Like this right here, I just put those on the quadruport a couple days ago. I did this one for the Carrera. Then you got your turbos that come up, and they can be upgraded as well. You got turbochargers. I upgraded that. That's for the Carrera, the quadruport, excuse me. So now there's some parts in here that are like standard parts that you know can be upgraded. Usually, the spark plugs, the air filters, the pistons, the alternators, the power steering, the exhaust and intakes usually can be upgraded. If you're going to use a distributor, always check here first before you get a distributor, because I don't think there's a distributor in the game that can't be upgraded. I also don't think there's ignition stuff that can't be upgraded either. Like your wires, all your fuel parts can be upgraded. Usually check for your exhaust parts as well. Check for your engine heads. Check for your clutch plate, clutch pressure plate, and your flywheels. All your carbs, your cams, check for your cams. Because usually you can upgrade those as well. And that's basically it, guys. That's basically everything you need to know about how to play the game and stuff. If you want horsepower, use that performance boost, that power boost section in the game in there, and look. It may take you a few minutes. It may take you a few minutes to find the correct part. But once you find it, if you can find it at performance part, grab it as quickly as you can, because it's great. Now, I was gonna build a V8 engine, but I don't want to do that right now. I'll do that in the next video here in a little while. We're gonna go up here and look off in our beautiful shop. That's a sexy shop right there. Look at that shop. It's clean. That's it, guys. I'm gonna head out. Thank you. Good night.